morning, ladies and gentlemen. Christmas weekend, Christmas Sunday. As you can see, I'm looking very Roger Moore catalogue pose kind of appearance today. Thought I'd make the effort for Christmas Day, bearing in mind it's now the 28th and my beautiful daughter's birthday, so happy birthday to you, my darling. As I promised, this is the episode where I kind of show you what I had for Christmas. Not everything. No one's interested in pairs of socks and goodness knows what else I had. Mine was just going to be obviously James Bond related. But this is a video, by the way, that when I started this channel, this was a video I was really looking forward to making, because I'm going to show you something last, which was, well, is and was and has been presented to my wife as a birthday gift for a, what's the word, milestone birthday, let's say. And I'll come on to that a little bit more later. So first up is just before, about the week, maybe 2 weeks in the run up to Christmas Day, I had a couple of things through the post which I was sort of half expecting, not too sure whether they would arrive because of how the subscription works kind of thing. The first one, and what I'm going to do is take these off and do a swap so I can see the Living Daylights on the Edge, one of MI6 Confidential's specials. As you can see, it's numbered 9. There's obviously a fair few for me to catch up upon, which is a mission of my own, which I'm going to choose to do. But it's a deep dive into the making of the Living Daylights, so genuinely looking forward to that. As you can see, I'm just going to flick through, but there's a lot of, that really isn't working, is it? A lot of information, some terrific photos. I've not got round to watching this one, and on my next going now. But it's got storyboards in it and all sorts, so terrific picture of Tim Dalton on the back. So that's like the special that they produce, which I am very much looking forward to reading. That'll be some of my festive weekend reading. Now this I have read, and ironically Mr. Dalton is on the front again, and the reason I say that is, if you saw my George Lazenby merchandise idea review when I watched his singular film, I did 2 god-awful impressions, and I'm sorry to say I've done 2 more, this time of Timothy Dalton and of Robert Davi. I'm feeling a little bit happier more about the Robert Davi one than I am the Timothy Dalton one. I was trying hard not to laugh, but I thought I'm just going to roll with it. But yeah, I'm just going to flick through this one for you, just to give you an idea of what you get in these magazines, a bit like the JBIFC ones that Graham Rye does. So let me freeze the camera and give you a better angle of this. So as you can see, he's looking very menacing now, is our friend Timothy, and it gives you a bit of information as to what's contained within. But it's quite an appropriate edition actually, because the one thing I find, there's Quantum of Menace, heard very good things about that, is the editing of Bond films, particularly when they're just shown on terrestrial TV. Obviously there's been the recent deal done, surprisingly in my eyes, with Netflix. And I don't know if they're getting the entire lot all in one go of the 25 movies that Eon produced, and also whether it actually includes the additional 2, the, you know, the 60s Royale and Never Say Never Again in the 80s. But I think I read somewhere that it said, like, along the lines of in the first wave that there's 4 films, so maybe when them 4 films have run their course, they'll swap them for another 4, and it'll be kind of like a rolling deal. Great poster. So we shall see. But I am genuinely surprised at the that deal itself, because you would see them as, well, rivals essentially. But this magazine in particular is all about how Bond's been edited, some of the trials and tribulations of getting the movie past the censors, not only just in the UK, but obviously the US. They're the two they focus on in particular. But obviously they do mention other territories around the world. So this is a part where they discuss Q and the Quantum of Menace book, which we saw on the inside cover, and like he drives a Caterham, so on and so forth. Aforementioned Casino Royale. That's a challenge to watch, but it is worth watching in my opinion. Some interesting alternate versions from different countries around the world. Raymond Benson's launch party for his The Hook and the High story, Felix Leiter, set in the 50s. And ironically, and this was not planned, in this episode, this fine gentleman will be making not a physical guest appearance, but he will be making a guest appearance of sorts. But like I say, I'm going to discuss that with you in a little while. But I mean, the imagery speaks for itself. The talent that is Jeff Marshall. So moving along, you know, I mean, that's his process. Look, and this article discusses how he does it. Absolutely incredible. It really, really is. And ironically, this individual, in a roundabout sort of way, will be making a kind of appearance later in this episode. And then Sean, this is the work of Sean Longmore. Interesting article. I've seen Sean's work, and it is terrific. It really is. And you know, he does other genres as well. I mean, obviously this is involving Roger Moore. And then on the inside page and back cover, it's all about this year's edition of Road to a Million. And there's a lineup of the cast. I say cast, the participants. And like I've said before, I genuinely hope that there is a third season of that. And then obviously Raymond Benson's The Hook and the High. I keep saying The Hook and the High. The Hook and the Eye. And that is issue 77. And obviously I am going to look at renewing my renewal. But like I say, quite ironic, it's a Dalton double because of doing the merchandise reviews for the Living Daylights and License to Kill. And again, I apologise in advance of when you watch that episode because of those impressions of mine. Now then, as you can tell, this is the part that I've promised was what I got. And if any of you saw an earlier episode of this on this channel, I kind of hoped that I'd be getting the books, the Ian Fleming novels that he wrote. You know what I mean? So my good lady wife and family kind of sorted that for me. So I've sort of opened it to a degree, just to have a squiz really, because obviously this was yesterday. And I'm going to do what I did for you, that I did, which was to just simply go like this. It's absolutely terrific. As you can see, there's a film across the middle. So I'm just going to snip that, and then we're just going to take a very quick look at the front and back covers, because obviously there's the spines. I can't remember what the original imagery was on the original Fleming titles. But what I'm going to do is easily Google it. But the one thing I don't know, and this is a bad thing, apart from the obvious one, Casino Royale, which was his first novel all those years ago, back in the 50s, is the order to read them in, because I'm assuming they would follow on, you know. I know the Bond movies aren't renowned for their continuity, let's say, but I'm guessing Mr. Fleming was. And the great thing about this is I know nothing of the literary James Bond, so this is going to be an absolute bonus ride that's going to take a while. It'll take me, and like with me doing the merchandise reviews, because I thought I don't want to do a film review. Everyone's done a film review probably, and film rankings, you name it, and they've probably done the same with the books, that they've ranked the books, however you want to put it. I'm just going to give my thoughts on how different it is and what is in the books compared to the movies, and how different it feels, because I'm really excited for this. We're obviously the best part of 3 years away from a new film, so I just don't know the pecking order to read them in, so I have got to look at that, and then I will start to make my way through them. And when I've completed one, I will do a video on a Sunday to kind of throw my thoughts out there about what I thought about it. So, oh, you can tell like a kid at Christmas, quite literally. First one, and that was no pun intended, literally. Book number 1, I'm pulling out. Is it me, or is there some additional? Tell you what, let's grab one from the middle and then start feeding them out. There we go. Okay, they could be quite plain looking, I don't know. That came from there, so let's grab that half. Ah, there is something else. That's why it's a bit of a challenge. Some more film. There we go. That should make it a lot easier, he says. Yes, a lot easier. So, first one out the box. The Spy Who Loved Me. I think these are going to look very similar. And there's the back, where it obviously gives you either a quote from inside the book, or I'd imagine a very, very brief synopsis. You only live twice. Did I get that right? I did. And there's the back of the cover there. I know some of them, they had skulls on, they had revolvers, most likely spiders, but this is clearly just going for a very straightforward basic 007 original logo, as in just the 2 zeros and the 7, not necessarily the gun motif at the end of the 7 or a part of the 7. Oh no, tell a lie, I do like that. The 2 short stories, Octopussy and The Living Daylights, that's a pretty cool cover. Certainly the best one that I have pulled out so far. That could be the one I read first, but I won't. I'll read them in order. For some reason I've got the feeling them short stories are probably the last of the bunch. And there's another bit of film to just nip there. Hopefully that's the last one, because that's a bit of a mish. Oh, I'm surprised at the Goldfinger one. It's just got his... Actually, I've got a fingerprint, although... Yeah, that penny just dropped. That's kind of clever, actually. I was just about to say that's pretty tame for one of the most notable films from the film Bond. The original book. I quite like that as well, actually, but the short story one still gets it for me at the moment. So Casino Royale. On the back. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am to read these, because I said, goodness me, how many months ago I wanted to expand my literary bond, and ironically with them two magazines, all these books, the literary bond really has come to town on this. So for your eyes only. I'll tell you what I do like about these books is they're all very, very colourful. Obviously all paperback edition as opposed to hardback, but I have seen some very cool James Bond bookends. I think now that I have these, they will be purchased at some point. So straightforward Thunderball with the use of a spear. I've been noticing, like on the back, that these are all, from what I've seen so far, £9.99 individually. So when you consider that's £9.99, and then you've got the thicker ones for £9.99. Yes, there's 14 of them. The good lady did not spend what you're thinking on it. There was a good deal on eBay. So the man with the golden gun, and that's where they got them from. To which I will be forever grateful. Wow, probably the equivalent to one Harry Potter book, isn't it? I think loads of them. From Russia with Love, obviously a much loved film edition, and it is one of Connery's best. I know it's not a gadget laden one, but when the story's that good, you don't necessarily need gadgets. I know there's a few, but not as in your face. That's cool. Diamonds Are Forever. Use of the Scorpion. Obviously, we all know how Mr. Wint and Mr. Kidd dealt with Dr. Tynan out in the desert. Moonraker. Now, obviously, I've said before, I've not read any of the books, but I know this could not be more different to the film. So, really curious about this one. I know it's pretty much, from what I can recall, UK based. I think it might be more a political type thing than anything else. This one I'm looking forward to, but this is the book in particular I'm curious about. It was my first film, but I get the feeling the text has been edited. When this was written, it's a product of its time, and that's how I would have read it, and that's how a lot of people, whether it's a TV show or a book or a movie, even if, how can I put this, even if it's not suitable or appropriate in today's world in terms of how we see each other and speak to each other, it's a great, I would assume, learning piece. So you cannot speak to somebody like that anymore, or you can't film something like that anymore. This is like, it's like history, good or bad, but we're meant to learn from history. We're meant to learn in particular from our mistakes, or other people's mistakes. Final one, Doctor No. So these, as you can see, let me just pop the box down here. There we go. I'll bring the camera forward. I have got a lot of reading to do. A lot of reading. So these comparisons from books to movies, they're going to take me a while. But like I've said, once I've completed each one, I will do, and I'll use an episode to do that, excuse me, that kind of review, for want of a better description. But I honestly, that is an awesome gift for any book lover. So I'm going to strategically place these up here, And there's a very good reason for this, because it's the part of the episode that I've been looking forward to the most since I started this channel. So let me just pop those on the top. And like I say, I've got to look at the order of what to read them in. There we go. It's a nice little image. I'm just going to pause the video and then I'm going to put this item on the table. I will hold it up and then I'm going to switch the camera angle just so you can appreciate what this is, because it's connected with Bond, but it wasn't purchased for the issue of it, for the reason of it being Bond. It's probably not going to make a lot of sense, but it will do when I start discussing it more in a moment, okay? So I'm just going to stop the video again so I can put this in place. And what a surprise, it is right by the camera and it's still not working. Goodness me, here we go, let's try again. Hello once again. So let's give a kind of explanation to this. Me and my wife, we have known each other a long time. We've been together about 14 years. And this year, and it's weird how old this has worked out, but well, I'll say this year, next April, it will be 007 years of marriage. Cheesy and as corny as that is, but it is true. We got married on the 20th of April 2019, and never thought this would work out like this. But for my big birthday, or one of my last big birthday, which was a year late in terms of the gift because of where we went, where they took me to, they did some like adrenaline rush type things for me. My wife, bless her, who you would have seen in a previous episode about a month or so ago, she doesn't do adrenaline stuff, not at all. So my thought was, we'll go down the route. I spoke to the kids and I said, your mum's more kind of sentimental, and I hit upon an idea and the kids absolutely loved it, but I said I will need like some photographs to make this work and approach this person to see whether they could do something. And I already knew they could, and that person is not Roger Moore, but the man who built these, designed all these lithographs for Spy Guys and Alien Enterprises, which was Jeff Marshall. If you've watched my channel from the beginning, I did an episode, I think it was the third one in, and I didn't do the man justice, to be honest, because I looked at it and I thought, goodness me, it only lasted about 6 minutes and nowhere near enough to discuss or showcase the talent of this guy. Because to me, he's pretty much retired now. I'd say semi-retired, because he does private commissions for like people, as in terms of like family and friends and so on and so forth, and just anybody who has seen his work or has purchased a piece of his work, and not disappointed, not in the slightest. So what I did when we got married, you know, a lot of people have like a theme for their wedding, and I said a long time ago, if I was ever to get married, I'd have to have a tux. I'd have to get married in a tux, which is what I did. But it was kind of bizarre. My wife, well, fiance at the time, knew, and she rolled with it. And then when we were coming to things like ideas or things needed for, say, like the reception, tables, etc., etc., ironically it worked out. There was the head table, obviously, and then there was 6 additional tables for close family and friends and so on. So each table was the name of a James Bond actor, and ironically, my wife's maiden name is Moore, so obviously her family had the Moore table. The children are their surname is Galloway, and my surname is Booton, and that's Booton. And I always played my wife up saying, well, when she discovered my hobby, my passion, she said, "Why on earth did you not tell me about this before? How did it all come about?" And I said, "Wow, it was just destiny." And she was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "Well, if you look at my surname, Booton, Booton, there's a double O in the surname." But I said, to make it even really cheesier, I said, if it's spelt in capitals, you've got the capital T, and you chop that kind of, what's the word? If you chop that half or elongate it, you've got the 7. And she just looked at me and was thinking, who on earth have I got involved with? But thankfully, it all turned out for the best. So what I'm going to do, before I show you, I got Jeff Marshall to commission our picture for the wedding day. And there's parts in it, ironically, from where we stayed to the car to the boat. He's incorporated it into this image, and for a bit of a giggle, my daughter, she loves Paloma. She loves Ana de Armas. So she's Ana de Armas in this lithograph. Myself and my wife are As We Were is an actual wedding picture. It's quite possibly our favourite. And our son, I gave him the option to strike 2 poses for this character, or these 2 characters. One was the character of Jaws, one was the character of Oddjob. And no matter what time of the year it is, he's always wearing sunglasses. So I said to Jeff, whoever you decide upon, just leave the sunglasses on. And he did, and it's turned out brilliantly. My wife on Christmas Eve, because that's when her birthday is, when we presented it with her, she was absolutely buzzing, blown away. I am hoping to have a conversation with Jeff to do an interview type thing and have a chat about it and just about him in general, because man, Amazon need to get this guy on board for, in my opinion, the publicity campaign moving forward with the new James Bond movies. To go back to those hand-drawn sketches of an era back harkening towards Connery, Lazenby and Moore. I think one of Timothy Dalton's Living Daylights posters is a very sketch type form in particular, but after that Brosnan and Craig were just photographs essentially. To go back to a hand-drawn image like these, I think would be a no-brainer. I think they'd resonate far more personally, because there's an art to it, there's a love to it. It's not just a photograph. So I'm going to switch camera angles and I'm going to talk you through and explain the lithograph, which now sits proudly, although it's here right now, it sits quite proudly in our lounge room, and it is a terrific talking piece. And I keep catching my wife looking at it, which gives me a real kick because I know we made the right decision. So very pleased indeed. So I hope you like what you're about to see. I don't think you'll be disappointed. We certainly weren't. Let's take a look. And it's still not working. Let's take a look. There you have it, ladies and gents. Look at that. That is the genius that is Jeff Marshall. So, as you can see, we went for the whole poster effect of coming soon, 20th of the 4th, 2019. So this bit here is what he calls the hero section, so the two or singular dominant character, and he's just done it as the photograph. Now, adding to it, the place where we stayed is a place called Lundy Island, which is just off the north coast of Devon, and this particular building here is called Stonycroft, and it kind of has echoes of the Palmyra house that belongs to Emilio Largo. Like a wing of it, you look at it, it's obviously a different colour because, you know, it's a different colour. There's obviously a lighthouse next to it, another property further on along the island. Obviously there's Jeff's signature. Now, ironically, this is called the MS Oldenburg, and it's kind of got a similarity and echoes of the Disco Volante. The dolphins are there because it's a wildlife area, so it has dolphins, it has seals. You've got, as you can see here, if I push it back up, we have the puffins. So he thought it'd be a great idea to add that in. So they're absolutely fabulous. Now then, there's my beautiful daughter, Tilly, and like I say, it's her birthday today. And she loves Ana de Armas. I said that gown would appear once again. Now, as you can see at the bottom there, there's a hat, and this is her brother Jack as Oddjob. And what Till really loves about this is the fact that she's, as you can see, she's got a gun to his head, almost. And then there's basically, that's the wedding car, and it's very similar, ironically, to as it worked out, to Goldfinger's car, and that's why I think Jeff's positioned Jack directly above it, because, you know, it ties in brilliantly and cleverly with the whole Bond thing. And at the bottom corner, now this I am going to take credit for, because that basically Jeff's just lifted it and put it on there as requested. The two names, so mine and Nick's name, and the kids obviously surnames, because obviously I'm their stepdad, but they're as good as my own kids to me. I love them dearly. And a plate on the 007 logo there. And then the frame itself, that was all framed out in America. It's the people that Jeff uses regular. And then as I pan it up and out, it's just amazing, isn't it? I will be putting a photo of this on the Facebook page, so you can sort of look and zoom in as and how you like and how you wish. But, you know, yes, private commissions, they can be expensive, but when you get that sort of quality, it is worth it. Admittedly, I did this for my wife along with the kids out about 18 months ago. So, you know, it had to be kept secret. It was sent to let's say a safe house nowhere near where I lived, just in case he got stumbled upon. We have a lot of cats. I didn't want them getting anywhere sniffing around it, so it's been safe and sound at a top secret location, let's say. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like I said, we need to get the word out there about Jeff Marshall and try and get him noticed by Amazon. I mean, if he can officially produce 16 lithographs through Dalian Enterprises and Spy Guys with the approval of Dana Broccoli, I believe it was, who greenlit those original 16 lithographs, surely we can get him greenlit for doing, I don't know, doing the Brosnan and Craig lithographs for a start, but more importantly, getting him involved with the new movie moving forward, if he wants to. I get the sneaky feeling he probably would love a shot at James Bond movie poster. I mean, who wouldn't if you've got that talent? So this is the point now. What I'm going to show you is highly embarrassing for me, but it's probably going to prove highly funny for this particular episode. I'm going to show you what's on this piece of paper here, and it's pretty horrific because basically, you know, when I spoke to Jeff, obviously he needs an idea and he'll take that and do his interpretation and end up with this. And, you know, as you can see, this is outstanding. But what I produced isn't. So I did do GCSE art at school. I did somehow pass it. And in my defence, I am 51 going on 52. And my GCSEs were 30 plus years ago. So I may have got a bit rusty since then. So if you're ready for this, I don't know, if you haven't taken a drink at the moment, you might want to put it down. Because I don't want you spitting your drink into your phone and trashing your phone. So, you ready for this? Take a look at this piece of work. So, that's pretty accurate, yeah. That's meant to be a puffin. I don't know what happened to me and my wife there. That's the car. That's my son Jack. Yeah, he looks like that guitarist. I forgot his name now. That rock guitarist, the really popular one, really well known one, which I really can't remember. Stonycroft, the MS Oldenburg. God bless her, my poor daughter. She went, "What happened?" And I had no defence. It's like, I said, "You look like the Undertaker out of the WWE," which didn't help. But I mean, she has forgiven me. But I thought, I've got to include this because you need someone professional if you're going to have something like this. You don't need, you certainly don't need me. But when you look at that, yeah, and then Jeff's taking it from that to that. I mean, the man's an absolute genius. He really is. The kid said I should get this framed and put it next to it, but I'm not having that hanging up in the lounge. So, but yeah, Jeff Marshall, you're an absolute legend, and it's a privilege and honour to know you. And I'm looking forward to actually speaking to you in person. So, yeah, thank you so much. Wasn't that sketch awful? It's been quite the conversation piece over Christmas, let me tell you. But yeah, it's been a terrific Christmas. I hope you guys have had a great Christmas too. The usual spiel of leaving a like, a comment, a share, a follow, a subscribe. I'm truly humbled if you do. I get a great kick out of this, even though I never ever planned to do it in the first place. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's video, even though that's not happened yet as I record this. Who knows what I might have picked up. And with that being said, I'm looking forward to next year. There are episodes already pre-recorded for January, but there's other ideas going on and possible, well, definite merchandise items arriving, so there'll be unboxing videos and so on, and trips out, as like I did yesterday. But seeing as Christmas has happened and we're just on the cusp of 2026, I just want to wish each and everybody out there, each and every one of you out there, a happy and healthy 2026, and go out there, enjoy yourselves, have fun. And with that being said, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, enjoy the rest of the festive period, and especially New Year's Eve. Stay safe, look after each other. Love you all lots. See you in the new year. Take care all. Bye bye.